up. Hello, everybody. This is Amphra, host of the YAMS Talk Show. Today is January the 20th, 2019. We are in season 4, believe it or not.
All right.
Season 4 of the YAMS Talk Show live here on Facebook. And we are continuing our conversation from about a week or two ago, about a week ago, talking about sexual predators. And I have with me today one of the viewers from YAMS who've been watching the show since it started. Her name is LaShunta Rudd. I know her as Favor Grace, and you've probably seen her post on my page. We had good conversations. I asked her to come on the show last year, and the timing wasn't right. And this year, when this conversation came about, the timing was right, and she was able to come on. And she's going to share with us some of her experiences, her knowledge, how she works with people, her ministry, and what we can do to protect ourselves and our children from sexual predators. So we're going to give people a few minutes to sign on here. It's about 2 minutes till, to let people come back on, share your experiences, share this feed on your page right now. If you are watching, I'm going to go ahead and share it on the pages that I normally share it on, and share it on your page too. And you can watch this show now on YouTube. Just go to the YAMS Talk Show YouTube page and be able to watch previous shows from the last 3 seasons. So let me do that while we are waiting on people to sign on. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Bridget. Please share this on your Facebook pages.
Share.
Yes. Because this is a ministry, believe it or not. It really is. Let's see. Share it on your page first.
So it's gonna come on my page.
Yeah, people will be able to see it on your page. Yeah, all of your friends on your page. Alrighty, let's see. I got a few more pages to share it on here. I'm still battling the cold, but I feel so much better. I've had it almost a month now.
Wow, the flu or just a cold?
Just a cold.
Is it a sinus infection?
It's really just a cold. It's like I haven't had fever really bad, but just had congestion.
Yeah.
I
have to go get a cocktail shot.
I've never had one.
Yeah, it knocks it out.
Knocks it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to share this.
Hello, Kimberly.
You know her?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for joining. We're going to have to start a conversation here. I'm asking you guys to please share this on your Facebook pages. We're waiting for a few more people to sign up, to actually sign on, rather. And we're going to start this conversation. If you know someone or you yourself has been in a bad relationship where you've been sexually abused, or children you know, or you were in your young childhood have been faced with sexual predators, they are everywhere. We're talking today specifically about them being in our families, in our churches, in our communities. They are everywhere at our schools, you know.
And they look like
everyday people.
Like us. You know?
Everyday people. And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And if we don't educate our children, and which is what we're talking about, protection is education first. You know, fighting back is fighting back with education. Hi, Tashir. Please share this on your pages, you guys. We're about to get the conversation started here. Let's see. Because this is predators in our community is something that we never want to talk about.
Right.
We don't want to talk about the Uncle Bobos. I call them Uncle Bobos in the family who have abused children in the family. And just about every family that I know got an Uncle Bobo somewhere.
Right.
You know.
Because, you know,
Vanessa.
When we were coming up, we were told, or some people were told,
most.
Yeah. What happens in this house
stays in this house. Yes, indeed.
So what happened in the house
exactly
has traumatized us people.
The whole neighborhood, all the houses in the neighborhood, because it stayed in the house.
And it was not normal.
Yes.
But it became the norm.
Yes, it is.
Because somebody said, don't you tell nobody.
Yes.
or keep it in the house.
Don't tell nobody. Don't go to school and tell about it. You better not say nothing. And so that is what we're talking about today. Sexual predators, you guys. We all know now about the R. Kelly controversy and the young women and girls that have spoke out. Mm-hmm. We know about Bill Cosby. We know about the Harry Weinstein's dying, and whoever, and all the stuff that goes on in the entertainment industry. But what we don't want to talk about, truthfully, is that's just the entertainment industry. This has been going on in families since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And but it is hush. It is taboo. You don't want to tell that someone in your family molested you.
Right.
And I don't even like the word molest. It is rape.
Right.
And it's not just a physical rape that, for your body. To rape a child's mind is to rape him for life.
Right.
His body will heal.
Right.
But the mind,
yeah.
And so that child will grow up to abuse someone too. And that is what we see.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going to talk about today. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, everybody. Sexual predators. I have been, no one in my family even knows this, so really this is kind of a confession today.
Okay.
When I was growing up in rural Fayette County as a little girl, there was this old man lived on a farm next to us, would come over to our house to watch a little black and white TV. Mm-hmm. And he would have me to come stand by his chair, and he would take his hand, his middle finger, and play in my panties.
Mm.
It did not hurt. He would give me a nickel or a dime,
Mm-hmm.
And I never, ever, ever thought anything of it. It went on for maybe a year or two. I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 years old.
Wow.
But there was no violence. He never touched me.
He didn't touch you, but he violated
me. But I didn't know it was a violation.
Yeah.
And it went on probably 2 or 3 times a week. And his name was, I could say it now, he's been dead about 50 years, Mr. Frank Person. And I blocked that out until I was about 30 years old, watching an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show where she talked about all sexual predators don't do violent acts.
Right.
And how we teach kids stranger danger, but it is family danger that causes us the most harm. Because we teach them to be aware of the people they don't know.
Right.
And so
what about the people that's in the family that we do know?
Memory to me that I had blocked away because it wasn't violent. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then when I was about 10 years old, my cousin and I, she's no longer here, we were attending a church with our grandmother and grandfather a lot, and the preacher was playing in our panties too.
Oh my God.
I've never told him. My brother's on here. He doesn't even know that. And I blocked that out until that day I watched Oprah, and I remember talking to Gwen, and she was like, because she used to talk about it all the time. I was like, it really happened.
So how did you deal? I mean, it happened. How did you deal with that? Like,
it was not painful. We were kids. We were in a car. He'd play in our panties, and we'd go run and play.
And you never told your mother?
Never told nobody. Never knew to tell. And then we get a nickel or a quarter or whatever. We did. That is the honest to God truth. And I've always, you guys, never liked to date men who had long fingernails. Because to me, it meant that they were playing in somebody's panties.
Now that's crazy.
That's a confession today on YAMS, you guys, because it happens. And then as I told my story to a few people here and there, they'll share my story. I mean, not my story. They'll share like, let me tell you what happened to me.
See.
And let me tell you what my uncle so-and-so did, or my stepbrother, or my such and such, or my so-and-so.
Because most of the time, the abuser, the one who's doing the violating, the one who's doing the abusing, somebody did it to him. And then we had another man in our family, and I'm not going to call his name. I don't know. He never done it
thing to me, because by then I knew to stay away, because he would say, "Come on with your pretty self and give me some sugar," and I'd be like, "Oh no, I'm going to run."
And see, we were told you don't sit in men's laps.
Hello. Don't let them bounce on your knees.
And don't let them kiss you in the mouth.
Don't let them kiss you in the mouth. Come on, give me some sugar, baby.
Now that's what we were taught.
Yes. And so strangers, kids know to stay away from strangers, basically.
Right.
But the people in the families, I know people whose stepbrothers have molested them. I know people whose dads have molested them. Rapes. I'm just sick of that word. So it is common, you guys, in our community. But as I heard a preacher, I think you sent me this video, he said, there's so much silence in the sanctuary, not just the sanctuary of church, but the sanctuary of our community.
Because we don't want to talk about
of our homes. And so kids grow up with this stigma, this shame, because we don't want to expose Reverend so-and-so. We don't want to expose Uncle Bobo. We don't want to expose the brother or sister, blah, blah, blah. And it's time that we start to educate our kids, number one. Ask them questions every day.
Yeah.
Has anybody touched you or made you touch them or do anything that you're not comfortable with? And you know, because it starts at when they can walk and talk. Truthfully, before that, for some reason, we need to check and inspect our children. Yeah. In my opinion. But today,
who they're hanging out with.
Exactly. Babysitters. Oh my God.
Check their cell phone.
Yes.
My daughters, I go in.
Yes.
Babe, let me see your phone.
Yes.
I go on their cell phones. I want to know who they're texting,
who they're
Instagramming.
Yes.
You know, all of that stuff. You have to look at it. I have a.
Well, introduce yourself first. This is LaShunta.
Hi, everybody. I am LaShunta.
Yes.
Favor Grace.
Yes.
And thank you so much for the invitation.
You're so welcome.
It's an honor to be here on today.
She and I have talked a little bit briefly about domestic violence and bad relationships, which are sexually predatory most of the time when you get into a domestic violence relationship. And then we've talked so much here lately online about the whole R. Kelly thing and women speaking out. Yeah. Men get mad. I hope James Morgan is on here because, you know, people tend to think when people start to talk, we're trying to put down all men or all black men. No, we're trying to recognize a sickness, an illness, a disease, a virus that has been plaguing our community.
It's a sickness.
Forever.
Yeah.
And so if we don't talk about it and people keep it in, it's going to continue for more generations to come, you guys. And we're trying to understand why it exists and how we can eliminate it.
Yeah. And you know, I heard you say that it's something that this is a topic that is real touchy.
Oh, yes, it is.
And
sensitive.
Yeah. And
confidential.
The church.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to address it, talk about it in the church.
It is.
Because for so many years we've had different issues to come up in the church.
Yes, we have.
And we just sweep it under the rug.
Yes, we do.
And I told a preacher a long time ago, I said, now, you know, if you keep sweeping this stuff up under the rug, it's going to get worse and worse.
Yes, it is.
So you have to take it, put it on top of the table.
You do.
You look at it,
yes,
and then you deal with it.
Yes, you do.
You know,
to ignore an issue, whatever it may be.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Makes it grow.
That's right. It's going to fester.
It's going to fester and grow until it erupts like it's doing. You know, it's like a pot boiling. The longer it boils, eventually it's going to boil over and come out.
And it's going to get worse than what it really is. So, yeah.
And so here we are today. And we can no longer keep sweeping these conversations under the rug. You can no longer tell our kids that, oh, he didn't mean it. Or she didn't mean it. We got to know everything about our kids. We also got to know everything about ourselves, you guys, because our kids pick up what they see from us. Even when you don't think they're looking, they're looking.
There's a I don't know if it's a book or a poem. It's called The Little Eyes Are Watching.
Wow, the little eyes are watching.
They're watching everything that you do and everything that you say.
They are.
So it's a topic, it's touchy, but we got to talk about it.
We got to talk about it.
So I'll let you lead and I'll follow.
Okay. So tell us what you do for a living. How do you know?
My background is Christian ministry, social services.
Okay. Christian ministry, social services.
So I'm a minister and I'm a social worker.
Okay.
Okay. So just, you have people that come
So who do you work with? Do you work for an agency or at the church, or what do you do?
I have a local nonprofit here in Memphis.
Good for you.
Serving in Christ Outreach Ministry.
Okay. Serving in Christ Outreach Ministry.
Yes, you can look it up on Facebook.
Okay. And you help people.
The ministry was founded in 2011.
Okay.
I'm the founder and the president of Serving in Christ Outreach Ministry. So basically, this ministry is just reaching out to people who are homeless.
Okay.
Women who's been abused and battered.
Yes.
And just helping the community, showing love and compassion.
Yes.
And just being.
And so you get to hear and witness these occurrences and events a lot.
Oh, absolutely. We have women that come in every day.
Wow.
Domestic violence cases.
Yes.
Some are fleeing. We have to.
Some are what fleeing.
They're fleeing from those bad relationships.
Yes.
And we have to get them to the family safety center.
Yeah.
Some come in, they've already been out for a while, but the trauma that it has caused from that relationship.
The psychological.
Right. The emotional,
spiritual.
The emotional damage.
Yes.
That whether it's sexual abuse or domestic violence, whatever it is, the trauma that relationship has caused and done to whoever it is.
It is. So the family, the mother, the children. And they don't heal overnight. It happens and it lasts forever.
Yeah.
It affects the mother of the woman and the children forever. It is life-changing when someone is being abused.
Yeah.
Sexually, verbally, physically, abuse is a generational curse, you guys.
Yeah.
It really is. And we don't seek therapy. We don't seek help. We'll run and flee eventually and get over it, but we never deal with the root cause of what happens. And so as women, we'll find that we'll go and still keep attracting the same type of man.
Right.
I was guilty of that.
I too. Yeah.
I can't have a date no more. I'm so scared. I was like, okay, here comes this crazy nut.
Well, even I've had some bad relationships.
Yeah, me too. Every last one.
but the bad relationships that I've had, is not going to stop me from loving.
Oh no.
Okay. So and
loving yourself.
Yes.
Number one.
Absolutely.
That's the key. Loving yourself.
Self-love.
Something we're not taught.
Yeah.
Historically, to love and honor yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you love yourself, you can't even know yourself or love yourself completely until you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are.
And when you love yourself, you won't accept anything. When you love yourself, you won't put up with anything.
That's right.
So,
because you're looking for someone to love you, is why we stay in relationships and attract the wrong things, because we don't love ourselves.
But also, everybody wants to be loved.
Everybody.
Let's just keep it real. Everybody wants to be loved, and everybody wants a companion. Nobody wants to spend the rest of their life by themselves.
Yeah.
But you just gotta know who you're dealing with, basically.
It's interesting that you say that, because this is so true, and I want to say hi to a lot more people here. This is how we say hi to them. Hi, Jackie. Jackie Wilson says hello. My brother Leroy has joined. Rhea Banks has joined. Donna Layton Bolden. Hi, Donna. Lakita Thomas, Kelly Pearson, Alcatraz, I think is your name. Cassandra Moore, Roy Clayton, my classmate. Kathleen Furlow Harold, and LaShunta Hodge. How you doing? Welcome, you guys. We are having a great conversation. Share with us your thoughts, your insight of you have experienced domestic violence and sexual predators, or you know someone, or have some advice or anything you want to say to us today about the subject, because this is something, an illness that is plaguing our communities.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not just plaguing the Black community.
It's everywhere.
Look at the Catholic Church. Yeah. Historically has abused boys. Yeah. And probably girls too, but boys. So it is everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can't keep sweeping it under the rug. Mm-hmm. We cannot, when a child tells you, because we see this every day in the news, there is a boyfriend who has hurt, killed, or raped.
Mm-hmm. So for the boyfriend to have hurt a child, mm-hmm. Where is the mother?
Where is the mother?
So I'm gonna go here for a minute.
Yes, go here, sweetie.
And I'm gonna talk about me, okay. what I've experienced. Okay. So when I was a little girl, okay, my daddy touched me the wrong way.
Your biological,
my biological father, and.
Your I got to pause there because
my biological
second person.
My biological father.
Your biological. You grew up in a house with your biological father and your mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, I told my mother. Okay. I mean, immediately because
he touched you in some way.
He touched me, and
at what age?
Oh, probably maybe about 7 years old. Wow. But I never forgot it. I never forgot it. Because I knew that this is not supposed to happen. I've always been this fairy tale person. Yeah. I'm serious.
I know.
I always thought that marriage was I'm the prince.
Perfect. And
I'm the princess and he's the prince, and he's just gonna take.
We're gonna live happily ever after.
That's what I thought. That's because my parents were married for 20-some years.
Wow.
But so as I think back on that.
When you told your mother, let's just break it down a little bit. So he touched you, if you don't mind, can you tell us how? You don't have to go into rigid details, but just.
He touched me.
He touched you.
Okay. And he pulled his penis out also. Yeah. So.
Your biological father?
My father. Yeah. So I told my mother.
You went to her and told her?
When my mother came home, mm-hmm. I told my mother, and she believed me. My mother did not question. She did not believe me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
She believed me. Okay. Okay. And I come from a big family. I had lots of brothers, so it was a big thing. It was this big fight in the house behind that.
Okay. So she confronted your father.
Yeah, she confronted him, and he had to leave.
Okay.
So that's how.
Did he own up to it?
I don't know if he owned up to it,
but he had to leave.
But I knew he had to get out of the house.
Okay.
I knew that.
Okay.
And so maybe down the line he was back in the house.
Okay. So she forgave him, and
she forgave him. He was back in the house. Okay. And we just always kept our distance.
Okay.
So as
7 years old.
So I never forgot it. I know that it was not normal. I know that it was wrong, and I was gonna tell my mother because. She would tell us, if anybody touch you now, don't let nobody touch you nowhere. Yes. So I was able to tell my mother because we had that type of relationship. And again, when I told my mother, he had to leave the house. Okay. Now, at some point, they got back together. She forgave him. He was back in the house, but we kept our distance. So I never felt
hugged him and all that. No more.
None of that. I never got that. Love. I never got the love
from him,
from my father.
The natural love.
I didn't get it. I never got the love that I need. And this is the first time really that I talk about this. Now, in my book, I have a book called Delivered and Set Free. You can find that book on Amazon.com. Delivered and Set Free.
Delivered and Set Free. We should have brought a copy with us. Okay, we'll show it.
And so I talk a little bit about it in my book, but not as deep as I'm going today, because somebody needs to be set free.
Yes, they do.
John 8:32 says, "Whom the Son sets free is free indeed." So, with that being said, he moved back in the house, and we kept our distance, but we never had that father and daughter type of relationship.
You couldn't
as a little girl. So I didn't hear. Come here, baby girl. I love you.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if my sister got it, but I didn't get it.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't get that. And I believe as it relates to domestic violence and these sexual abusive relationships, when a little girl, and I believe this with everything in me, I believe that when a little girl does not get the love that she needs from her father, she will end up in the wrong.
She's looking for her dad.
Yeah, and it's almost like
it's nature.
It's almost like you're looking for love in all the wrong places. So you end up in these bad relationships.
Yes.
I've had failed relationship after failed relationship. I had failed marriages after failed marriages. Why? Because I didn't get the love that I need from my father. I always wanted a father figure as a husband, but that husband was abusive. Whether it was domestic violence or sexual abuse.
Yes. Wow. I'm kind of stunned for words because I didn't know we were having this conversation because I didn't know what she was going to share with me today, you guys. And I'm glad that you have. It's a freeing moment for somebody else too.
Yeah.
You know, because what we've got to understand, what I've learned is by nature, it is the seed of the father that is repeated because it is his seed that's why you come from your father basically. And so it is in the nature of young girls to be attracted to men like their father, biological father, whether they knew him or not.
Right.
It is in nature for boys to be like their fathers, whether they knew him or not, because it is his seed that reproduced. By nature, you are drawn to people like your father. You know, the father's role is so important in our lives. His absence, even like Obama said, or his presence can change our lives.
Right.
You know,
and even with what the home that I grew up in. As a little girl, because I saw it was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, my mother had 13 children.
Wow. By your dad?
No.
Okay.
So it was two. I think it was two separate men.
Okay.
Two men. But
it's okay. We're just being honest.
And they drank in the house.
Yes.
So, but my point is, as a little girl, I had made a conscious decision that I said, Mama, I am not going to live like this.
Yes.
As a little girl,
you knew.
I knew, and I told my mama, I said, I'm not going to live like this. Of chaos and drama and
all that comes with drinking and all of that.
I said, I am not going to live my life like this. So I've always been, of course, when I moved out, I graduated, moved out.
So you never had any other conflict? I'm just showing the story.
No.
From that, as a 7-year-old young girl telling your mom that your dad had basically shown you his penis and all of that, there was never any other thing in your childhood from that point?
No. Because I stayed my distance. We were in the house together, and we had upstairs down. We had a 2-story home. Okay. So I just made it my business to stay out of his distance. Right. I stayed my distance.
But how about your sister? How many of y'all in the house at the same time?
So it was 5 girls.
Okay. Do you know if he did the same thing to any of your other sisters?
I don't know.
Have you talked about it yet to this day?
I wrote about it in my book.
Did they believe you?
Everybody in the family got a copy of the book, but nobody
read it.
2 of my brothers said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that happened to you."
Wow. So what discussed?
So no,
it was pushed up under the rug.
Because what happens in this house stays in this house. Now, Mama didn't say that. Yeah. Because she addressed it. Yeah. I saw him packing up and he was out of there. Yeah. But the fact that she allowed him to come back.
Yes.
So
that's traumatizing too.
Right. Because it's wrong. So why is he back in the house? I don't care.
So how do you trust him now?
Right.
When, yeah.
I don't. And I would never. She would never leave us at home
with him.
Even though that was her husband. That was her husband.
How did you feel? And you can answer this for me. How did you feel, and how do you even feel today about your mother allowing him back in the home and in y'all's lives?
Well, first of all,
and I'm not trying to put your mom down or anything like that. So please don't take it the wrong way.
And I did. I promise you I did.
Okay.
I don't really know how I feel about that. Yeah. Because I just know where I am now. Yeah. It wasn't right.
How did you feel about your mom doing that?
I just didn't know why would you allow him to come back? But it never changed the love that I had. I loved my mama. I did. I loved my mama.
Is your mom still living?
No. My mother passed away when I was 19 years old. I had my first son on my mother's birthday.
Okay.
So,
because that had to weigh heavy on her heart.
Right. I'm sure as a mother, sure, and then as a wife, the flip side of it.
Because then to be involved with him intimately when he's done this to his own child.
Right.
That has
to he also had outside children.
Oh wow.
So
is he still living?
No, he's deceased.
Okay.
I'm thinking even now because right at this moment in my life, I'm doing self-care.
Yes, self-care.
And so now I'm in counseling.
Yes.
And I go to see a therapist once a week.
Which is so healthy.
And so
what made you get to that point at this age in life? To seek therapy, and because Black people, that's another taboo for us.
Trauma, life trauma, all the stuff
building up over years.
Because what happens is every time. Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna go here because I am a Christian. I'm a believer. Okay, so I believe that the Word of God supersedes everything that happens. Okay, that's my belief.
Okay,
now
I respect that.
So for me, the Bible talks about this woman in Luke chapter 18. The woman that she had an infirmity. She was bent over for 18 years.
Okay.
This is what I believe. When you taking blow after blow, woman of God, after blow, every time I take a hit, you know what it does? It knocks me down. Every time I take another hit, I go down a little more. Every time and so this was recently that I was walking around
spiritually bent over, broken.
And I'm going to church every Sunday. I'm filled with the word. But when everybody's coming at you with their stuff, at some point you have you have got to sit yourself down and detox and shut the phone off, the iPad, the radio, the TV. You got to shut it all down and say, God, it's me. I need some help. This is too much baggage. And so I'm walking around, I'm bent over with all of these blows that I've taken because what the church does, and I love the church because we are the church. But the church would tell us to, woman of God, just let it go.
Let it go.
Let it
go.
You're going to be all right, sister. You're going to be all right. Just move on.
And forget about it.
And so when you taken so much and you haven't dealt with that stuff, it's going to deal with you. If you don't deal with it,
it becomes cancer.
It will deal with you.
It becomes a spiritual cancer that can then turn into all types of cancers in our physical lives because we're not taught. We're taught to just pray about it. Go to the altar and leave it at the altar.
And those are good things.
But you got to deal with it.
But you got to deal with it.
You got to get to what we call in corporate American manufacturing the root cause of what the problem is.
Right.
And you've got to learn from it, grow from it, heal from it, and then educate from it.
That's right. That's right. So with me going to therapy, my therapist, like last week, we're working on the family genealogy of the tree.
Yes.
So right now we're just dealing with mama stuff and the kids. We didn't get the daddy yet.
Oh wow.
So
if the tree is rotten, so are its fruits.
But my point is, she went back to the root cause. I've been married 3 times. A lot of people don't know I've been married 3 times.
Wow.
The first time I stayed married was maybe about 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
He was abusive.
Were you in your 20s then?
Right. I was in my early 20s. As a matter of fact, when I graduated from high school, we dated in high school.
Okay.
When I graduated, I went to college. While in college, I left home, cut all my hair off, and I moved in with him, and I got pregnant.
Yeah.
And so we married. So I married at an early age because
that's the right thing to do when you get pregnant. You gotta get married.
So we got married and stayed in there for about 6 years, but he was physically abusive. Okay. He would literally choke me. Yeah. I didn't have any black eyes or nothing, but he would choke me. Yeah. He would where I was, gasping for breath. Yes. And one day he was gone. I packed the kids up and we left. We went to a shelter, stayed in a shelter for about 2 years. And so got out of that, saved money.
How many kids
worked
with
a
him?
job. I had 4 children with him.
Okay.
And I got out of that and saved my money, worked a job, and then I was able to move out of the shelter. Mm-hmm. And I got my own.
How long
apartment.
did you stay in the shelter?
2 years.
2 years.
Stayed in the shelter for 2 years. I had
you and the kids?
Me and my kids.
Wow.
I saved up enough money while working a job.
Yeah.
And then I was able to move out of the shelter.
Wow.
And from there, I got my own place, kept my job, bought me a better car.
Were you conscious of your kids, being that this happened to you as a young girl? Were you, when you had your babies, spiritually conscious of seeing, watching, protecting, and educating them in your 20s?
No, because I was this young girl.
Yes, immature,
living a fast life
yes.
with him.
Yes,
but
not aware of a pattern or a cycle that you are probably going to repeat in some way.
Right.
No awareness taught to you in anything.
But I packed my bag. I just had one bag, and I got all the kids. And I packed all of them a bag and put their little backpacks on their back. And we left. And never went back. Walked out. Never went back.
And is he alive today?
And I filed for a divorce.
Okay.
Yeah, he's alive today.
Okay.
So got out of that marriage.
Okay.
A few years later, met another guy from the neighborhood. And we started dating, and then I married him. Okay.
So you had 3 or 4 kids?
I had 4 kids.
Okay.
I had 4 kids. So when I married him,
second husband,
we only had 1.
Okay.
And so,
and were you at that point with a second husband and 4 kids? Did you have any consciousness, awareness, education, or knowledge to protect the 4 kids, possibly from the second husband?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was a nice guy.
Okay.
He was a good provider.
Okay.
He took care of us.
He loved the kids.
He loved my kids. He took my children as if they were his own.
Okay.
Now he still takes care of the children, whatever they need. You know,
he's the father.
He's their father.
Okay.
So,
all right. That's good.
However, now when I met him, I was still clubbing. Both of us, we were clubbing and partying.
Yeah. So now you're in your late 20s.
I'm in my late 20s.
Okay.
But I was still partying.
Oh yeah.
But at some point, I got tired of partying.
Yeah.
I said, I'm tired. I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired. And I started going to church.
Yeah.
So we started going. Eventually, we started going to church. But
and you married him, so you guys are married and you had a baby.
We got married. We had a child. But he was a drinker. He was a heavy drinker. He was an alcoholic. Okay.
Which is hereditary.
And mother drank, father drank. And so, but when he drank, he turned into somebody totally different.
Wine and liquor is a spirit.
Right.
And it spiritually changes who you are.
He was a monster.
Yes, it is.
And the more I would go to church, the more I would hear the word of God. The Lord began to change me. Okay. So I didn't want to drink.
Start thinking. You was becoming what we call conscious.
It's a process. I didn't want to do all that no more. And so, he told me one day. He said, "You've changed." Yeah. He said, "But it's a good change."
Who? Your son?
My husband.
Okay.
My husband.
Okay.
At the time,
yeah.
He said, "But it's a good change." So I don't think that he didn't really like. He didn't like the new person that I had become because he wanted the person that he fell in love with. Yeah. And I wasn't that girl anymore.
You had outgrown
I had outgrown it. And I wanted us to grow together, but he didn't want that. So he was abusive. He was verbally abusive. So in the first marriage, it was physical abuse and verbal abuse. So in the second marriage, it was physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse,
and spiritual. Had to be
and spiritual abuse. And so, with that, I stayed married to him for 13 years.
Wow.
I stayed with him for 13 years.
Wow. And you endured?
I endured. Were
you hoping that he'd change or get better or accept it, or you just plow through?
I was hoping that he would change. We went to counseling so many times. We went to Christian counseling from the church. Yeah. And, it just had gotten to a point where I don't know if he probably would have killed me or I would have killed him.
What was the defining moment that made you leave that situation?
Well, one, I would get up at night sometimes he would come in and he had been drinking, and he would verbally abuse me and that's name calling. So at nighttime I would have to go to bed with and I talk about all of this in my book. I would literally go to bed at night with a sermon by my pastor playing in my ear every night to block it out. I would go to bed with that with the sermon playing, and I would wake up with a sermon playing. Wow. And you would do it for 13 long years. Well, it wasn't 13 long years because remember the process. Right. Remember when you first got together, we were on the same page. We were on the same page. So the closer I got to God, the closer I got to God, the worse he got. And it was becoming mental for me. Yes. And then I saw what it was doing to my children. Yes. Because now I have daughters who's of age and they can see. Yes. And they can feel and they know something ain't right with mama. And I never forget one time our wedding picture was up on the top shelf. Yeah. And my baby girl, she pointed up, and he and I was standing there, we were arguing. Yeah. And she pointed up at the picture and she said, Mommy and Daddy. She said, how come y'all can't be like that? Like you used to be. That's profound. And that I think that did something to the both of us. Yeah. But I remember, at the end of it, and I just walked through the house and I said, Lord, if you just get me out of this, I'll never look back. Lord, and I just kept saying, Lord, deliver me. And I didn't even know what I was talking about, really. I didn't know about no deliverance. But that's what, because I kept thinking about Peter when he was on the boat. He said, Lord, save me. And so I just said, Lord, deliver me. God, if you that was my only prayer. Lord, if you just get me out of this, I will never look back. Okay. And so I remember walking. And so your baby by him, the second marriage, how old was it? A boy or a girl? She was a girl. It's a girl. It's a girl. It's a girl. Okay. And so how old was she by the time you got out of this relationship? Dar was probably about 8 or 9. 8 or 9. And she's 15 now. Okay. So, but I remember walking out of the bedroom. And he's behind me, and he was calling me everything in front of the kids. No, it was just me and him. Okay, I don't even know what the children were. Okay, did he call you names and things? Did your kids witness any of the domestic violence that either the first or second husband? The first marriage, the children were too small probably to even remember. Okay. Second marriage, they could. Because they can feel, even if they don't see it, they can hear the verbal abuse. They can hear the verbal abuse. Yeah. And so I remember walking out of my bedroom, our bedroom at the time, and he's behind me, and he was calling me everything that he could think of. Yeah. You hear me? Yeah. And by the time I made it to the dining room, I just stopped right there. In my mind, I thought about the lady from Selma, Tennessee. Remember the lady who was married to a pastor? To the preacher. Oh, yes. She killed she killed him. Yeah. And I don't know. She took the kids and ran. I don't even know why, but my mind. That was snapped, in the middle of that, my mind just immediately went to her. And I thought about her, and I said to him, and I'll never forget it. I said, this is how people lose their mind. This is how people snap. And he looked at me, and he just kept going on and on and on. And I just heard the Lord say that vengeance is mine. Yeah. I shall repay. Yeah. And I got out of there. I left. And you took the kids? Yeah, of course. I left. And actually, he wanted me to leave our home. And he's going to move his girlfriend in. And I'm like, dude, are you crazy? South Memphis about to show up real quick. You know what South Memphis is? Yeah. He wanted you to leave the home that you guys shared. Yeah. So that he could move his girlfriend. This first home that we purchased and bought together. Wow. We had looked at 1,000 houses probably. Oh, and I said, this is the one. This is it. So you want me to move out with our children? So you and your girlfriend, dude, you crazy. So eventually. He ended up moving out, and we rented the house out or whatever. So today you are not. Evolution is growth. Yes. So the woman that's talking to me now,
is not the girl you used to be.
Oh, absolutely not. No, man. Because see, what I put up with back then, I ain't gonna put up with it now. I got, and I know we human and we are, but I got zero tolerance from foolishness from a man. I got zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
Now I believe that it ain't good for man to be alone, but Lord, I cannot deal with.
And so that is why
I feel like if I give you all of me, if I be honest with you, I want the same thing in return.
Yes,
that's it.
I've accepted that I'm gonna leave this earth a single woman, and I'm good with it because now I'm. But anyway, I want to say hi to some more people here. LaShunta Rudd, we talked to her. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Margaret Thompson Pryor. Thank you for coming back. Bernice Sellers Cox, Wanda Salter. Angela Meechan has joined. Jeanette Jones, Frank Wootens. Hi, Tony Shaw and Samantha Burns. Hi, Samantha. We're talking about sexual predators today and how to protect our children. Hi, Shanta Elliott. I think I know you, Shanta. How you doing? Make some comments. Hi, me too, Mama. And hi, Samantha. That's one of my God. She's grown now, but she has her story. I don't know if she wants to share it, but we're talking about sexual predators today and how they are in our family.
Yeah.
And how they're Uncle Bobo. I say Uncle Bobo. I don't have Uncle Bobo, but how they are our fathers. I know Vanessa Williams. You know Vanessa Williams, the singer. Mm-hmm. She said that when she was young, her parents, she went to visit some of her relatives or neighbors or something who lived in California as a little girl. Mm-hmm. And, your mom was okay with it, whatever. And she would have spent the night with this little girl like a week or two. And her older sister, the little girl's older sister, came in the bedroom each night and had oral sex with her.
Wow.
Vanessa Williams.
Wow.
And so I say that to say that it is not always
it's not always men.
It's not always
it's
men.
Women. And
it's not always men.
And let's I'm gonna stop here for a minute, but I want to jump to R. Kelly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can do that.
Because what I didn't see the whole I didn't see the whole series. I didn't see all of it.
That's fine.
Now, what I did hear him say was he was in love with his mother.
Yeah, I saw that.
He said that
you sent me that clip.
He wanted to marry his mother
at 9 years old.
So to me, that alone was sickening. Because he confessed that you were 9, but now you're a grown man and you still sitting up saying that you wanted to marry your mother. Something is wrong with that picture.
Well, one of the things
there was a strong emotional attachment there.
Yeah, and his sister was raping him.
See, that's what I'm saying.
His sister and was raping because she was older. Him and his other brother, who also said it was their sister, and so that leads me to also ask the question and to believe that their sister had also been raped by somebody in the family too. So there's some generational problems in this family.
So this is what I'm getting to.
Okay.
If he had this strong feeling about his mother, because that's not normal. Okay. That's not normal, right?
No. But he's 9 years old. We got to keep this in context.
Okay.
As to say. He's 9, he said.
But I believe
that there was something happening there. Could be.
That's a strong emotional attachment.
Yes, it could.
Is it possible that the mother was molesting him and the sister?
Yeah, that's true. You have hopefully it'll come out, the truth, because his mom's gone now.
Right.
But his whole thing tells us how deep the rabbit hole goes of the generational curse that plagues our families of sexual abuse in the family, and how it doesn't matter if it's blood or not. Right. You're sitting here telling me it was your biological father, not your stepfather or mama's boyfriend. And so, and you have the courage, because it takes courage to talk about this.
When I was in therapy last week, my therapist said to me, she said, Now you're sitting here. Mm-hmm. She said, you're telling me about all of this trauma. She said, and yet you have a smile on your face.
It won't define you.
I said, the reason, you know, when you done cried,
all you can cry. All cried out.
And that was my response. She said, but all of, and then the word of God says that the joy of the Lord is our strength. And then let's go here. That's because I don't look like what I've been through.
Yes.
So even after,
but now, in order to heal, to smile now at this point, you have had to reach some level of healing.
Absolutely.
You cannot smile when you still hurt.
No. So let's go back. So after the second marriage, we divorced. We fought for 2 years after, because you do know when you divorce, it's just a piece of paper. Yes, but the divorce, the piece of paper does not define your divorce.
Yeah. Okay? It's the emotions and the feelings attached.
So even after we divorced, we fought for 2 years.
Oh, the kids?
The kids, the house,
and all
everything.
And stuff like
we were still fighting.
Yeah.
And so
did it take 2 years for it to become final?
No, it was final. We just kept fighting because we just kept fighting. You know, he would find things that, well, what you do with this and what, you know, so we were still fighting over things. So you were living in separate places. Yeah, we were living in separate places. So, you know, he said that, well, we made a decision. That we were not going, the divorce is over with. You've gone on with your life. I've gone on with my life. The children don't have to be in the middle.
Yes.
We're not going to play tug of war with the kids.
They'll be pawns.
They don't have to choose between mama and daddy.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Because they love you as their father and they love me as their mother.
And they should not have to choose.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So we went through that phase, and I'm still praying for the brother, but hey, we worked out our differences.
Yeah.
So that marriage.
So there's peace now at that.
There's peace. And I'm going to say this.
Is that forgiveness?
Yeah.
Well, there's forgiveness with the first relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because forgiveness is a part of healing.
Right.
You can't really heal until you truly learn to forgive. Not accept and do it again or repeat it.
But forgive them and move on. Right.
Yes.
So that forgiveness has taken place with the first marriage. Yeah. It took some time with the second marriage because we had been together for a long time.
Yes, that's a long time.
And so I think at some point, you know, he was angry with me.
Yeah.
I was angry with him.
Yeah.
And I had to go to counseling behind that. I don't know to this day if he's been to counseling.
Yeah, probably not. Men tend to not do counseling, but hopefully he has.
And so, you know, we went through that phase. And so I continued to do ministry after we divorced.
Okay. And so you got your own place. Now you and your 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
And you are starting a new life.
Starting a new life. I started writing.
What did you learn from the previous 2 relationships?
I have to love myself. Now,
hello.
Here's
the greatest love of all.
Here's the thing. One thing that I learned out of that was we cannot idolize people.
No, we cannot.
Okay?
Put them on a pedestal.
Can I go there?
You can go there.
Okay. The Bible says that God is a jealous God. He said, "Put no man before me." Okay, so sometimes you can idolize your spouse.
Yes, your children.
You can idolize your children. You can idolize your ministry, your car, whatever it is.
Yes, it is. That's
okay, but God said He a jealous God. So whatever you got and you put it before God, He will take it from you. I guarantee you that. So you know that's what I learned out of there. I've got to love me.
Yes. And you can't love God if you don't love yourself.
That's right. You got to love yourself. And then when you love yourself, then you'll know what's acceptable, what you're going to put up with and what you're not going to. Okay, here, this is, there's boundaries.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to put up with this and I'm not going to put up with this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then when you love yourself, you raise the bar on
the standard. That's right.
It is.
That's right.
The standards on
how you're going to be treated.
How you're going to be treated.
Right.
And when you see it firsthand, nip it in the bud or let it go. Mm-hmm. But when you don't learn, and that was my problem. Like I said, it was not to the open room for sure that I even learned that you're supposed to even love yourself. Never heard it in church. Never.
And I think another thing now that I'm here and we're talking about, I think one of my problems was I've always been in a relationship.
Yep.
See, I
never in a relationship with yourself.
I was always in a relationship. I started out in a relationship when I was 19 years old, married by 20. So I've always been in a relationship, and I've had that.
Yes.
You know, that companion.
It's an addiction.
Actually, I felt like the void. See, what it was a void
in you, yeah.
And the man was there to fill the void.
And that's not his job.
Because my father, let's go back. My father was not there to give me the Lord, to give me the love that I needed. Now I know I got a heavenly Father.
Yeah.
He said he loved me with an everlasting love. Yeah. Okay. And there's no love greater than God's love. No, I can't find nobody to love me like him. Now I gotta be real now, because there have been nights where I have cried myself to sleep, and I can feel the love of God wrap itself around me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you. But one of my problems is I've always had a man. And there to fill a need.
Society tells us that you gotta have that man.
You know, and even sometimes even in ministry.
Yes.
It's got to be a husband, a wife. You know, it's got to be the husband, wife, and the kids to have a ministry,
or to have a relationship with God.
Right.
Who is your pastor?
Right. So with that,
come on, sister.
So when I get out of the second marriage, I start a whole new life. I'm continually doing ministry, serving in the city, and bam, here I am again. Now this time, the third one, this time I ended up marrying a pastor.
I'm sorry, I ain't laughing at you.
I know.
It went from bad to worse.
See? And my brother didn't say it that way. He said, sugar, that you know what. So anyway.
We can say it's from sugar to shit.
So I ended up, and I got, this is it. This is the one. He the one, and you know what? This is the forever thing right here. Because remember, marriage for me, I was the princess and he was the prince. That's just the way it was supposed to be.
Fairy tale.
So, you know, but hey.
So he's gonna treat me right, because after all, he's a man of God.
He's a preacher. Absolutely.
Been there, done that. I'm gonna say hi to a few people before we give us the story. Hi, Eugene Ford. Hi, LaDonna Bracy. Samantha Burns, my goddaughter, says, my struggle does not define my strength. It encouraged my empowerment. And Samantha, if you want to share, because I'm not going to say anything, some of what you've been through. She's a survivor too of a sexual predator. Paula Weber and Brenda Austin Johnson from Detroit. Thank you guys for joining.
Hey, everybody.
This is my lovely guest. This was the perfect timing. LaShunta, I want to call you Favor Grace. She looks like Favor Grace. That's her name on Facebook. We are talking today about sexual predators. We started the conversation, and we could sort of go with the R. Kelly. Yeah. I'm just giving a review for the people here who just joined. And we're talking about, this is nothing new. What R. Kelly has been doing for 30 years has been going on in our community since the beginning of time. It's just that in the Black community specifically, we have swept it under the rug. The Uncle Bobos, the preachers, the deacons, the uncles, the brothers, the stepbrothers, the dads, the mothers, the aunties who have and are
the neighbor, the next door neighbor,
the babysitter.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're talking about how we've got